Hey guys, it's Always Improving here, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be digitally painting instead of a traditional work or watercolors or things like that. And this is because I'm doing a desktop background for my computer, and I decided to do digital just because I thought it would be easier to get this reference photo, which is of a group called BTS. You've probably heard of them. They've gotten a lot more popular recently, and this is the photo I'm going to be making my background off of. It's not going to be super realistic, but it's not going to be really stylistic. It's more realistic, I would say, but not super like photorealism. So let's just get right into the process. So the first thing I did when looking at this photo was do the background. I just added some really basic kind of overall colors to the background, and then move straight on into structuring out the first member of this band. I wanted to get down a process first because I knew that I would have to paint and draw all 7 of these members, and I wanted to make it as quick as possible. And while I do want to put a lot of care into it, I also want to be productive while I'm doing this. So I did try a few different techniques to sketch out the form, but then I quickly found one that worked and moved on into adding flat layers of color. I didn't add too much detail onto his skin or onto his clothes or anything. I just wanted to get down where the colors were and how they would be in relation to one another. I did spend a couple of minutes trying to figure out the real style that I wanted. I wasn't sure if I did want a more realistic image or if I wanted a more stylistic image, but I did find a good mid ground that I liked when doing this first character. After getting the flat colors down, I added a couple of details, mainly to his skin, and then moved on to getting the outlines of the next character. I do want to emphasize this is not my image, obviously. I'm tracing, but mostly just because I want to have this image as my desktop. It's mostly for practice, so that is why I'm tracing in this instance. And yeah, I just outlined his basic form and then added, again, broader stripes of color. However, with this outfit, the patterns on his pajama suit thing were really complicated. There were a lot of colors, and I did not want to have to get all those details down, especially because they weren't real shapes. They were like abstract, just strokes of paint. And so I decided just to kind of make my own design with some different colors. And how I did this was I went on first on a higher layer so that I could manipulate them themselves, and I added just splotches of bright colors that I saw in his suit. And then I changed the opacity, added some effects to that layer, and just kept adding details until I thought that it looked complicated enough to where the pattern looked similar to the one in the reference image. Also at this point I shaded his hair and just a couple other details. I will say, as I went on and into the middle of this image, there will be more and more detail added per character that I do, but it does teeter off at the end, just because this is part 1 and I wanted to add more details later. I wanted to focus on just getting all of the characters down first. This piece did take me quite a while, actually, even though I'm not done with it, but it did take me over a couple of weeks. I probably spent, I don't know, 10 maybe more hours on this, just on my iPad with Procreate, doing small details, adding all of those different colors that I saw in the image, and I just was really wanted it to look good, so it did take me quite a while. And as I said, it took me a while to do this piece. However, after the second character and getting that really complicated pattern on that suit out of the way, I did start to see myself speed up quite a bit. I was able to get down this process a little bit quicker, easily be able to really get down the forms of the character and add broad colors and broad strokes to the image. I also decreased the detail on their clothing. For instance, this third character from the left right here, he has like striped pajamas, and I think that's gonna be really hard to do, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna approach that yet. So I just kept the base color of white on his pajamas for now, and we'll add that detail later. As I was moving on, I did kind of develop this fourth character, their skin, a bit differently. I added a lot more detail to their shadows and was focused on getting the form of their face correct. And while this didn't exactly line up with the current level of detail in the other members' faces, I do think I will add more detail once I go back on my second layer. But I found a way that worked, that I could add detail in about the same, if not quicker, than how I was adding detail previously to the other member's skin. So I might as well add the detail while I'm at it if it's not going to take very long. Otherwise, this character was pretty easy to do. The red pants and the white shirt looked good together. I did spend a little bit of time figuring out how to do the pattern on his shoes, but overall it was pretty simple to do. The next character, the fifth character, I guess, I was again trying to emphasize a bit more quickness, trying to just get down those broader strokes. I did still add more detail than the first three to the face, added quite a bit of shadows, was really working on that. The hair is quite an interesting color. It was fun to paint and kind of figure out exactly what tone I wanted to use there. And one thing I will say, the skin on, well, no, not necessarily just the skin, the hands mostly, they were really fun for me to try to draw. I can see like how there was shadow in the reference photo, and I really want to emphasize those highlights in the shadows and the contrast between them, and I think I did emphasize that. I noticed that their hands were usually a lot brighter, they were more so in the light, and so I tried to get the highlights really stark on their hands and on their forearms. And these last two characters on the end were really just wanted to get their color done, wanted to get them through with, so I sketched them at the same time. I just wanted to do them kind of together and get it over with so that I could have just a base color and work from there. So the sketching process was relatively quick, and then I moved on to their skin, and again, as I was saying, emphasizing a really low detail image. I just kind of blocked in their color of their clothing and their skin first, and didn't really add a lot of detail at all, not any shading. I did color somewhat their shoes, but again, zero shading, zero detail. Besides their hair, it does have a little bit of variation to it, but it wasn't anything major. And with those final two characters complete for this version, that brings us to the end of part 1 of this painting. I will release part 2 of this video most likely next Saturday when I have the full image completed. That'll be the details that I add on to this piece. I'm really excited for it, especially because I want to use this image as my desktop background, so I hope you stay tuned for that. And if you did watch this video, I would like to thank you very, very much, and I really hope you enjoyed it. So I'll see you next time. Bye!